In this video, I'm gonna share my initial impressions on the brand new S5 Lumix full-frame camera. Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer and a Lumix ambassador from Helsinki, Finland. And in this video, I'd like to talk a bit about the brand new S5 Lumix full-frame camera. But I want to make it clear right away that I have not had a chance to try the camera. These impressions are based on the online meeting that I had with some other Lumix Nordic ambassadors and some Panasonic people a couple of days ago. We had a really nice talk about the new camera and the features of the new camera. And I'm sure there are some lucky people who have already used the camera, and you can see many online reviews already. Let's talk about the size of the new camera first. The size is slightly smaller than the current G9 Micro Four Thirds camera. And I think that's a really good thing because the G9 is pretty much the optimal size in my opinion. It's just about the right size. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's slightly big for a Micro Four Thirds camera, but for a system camera in general, I think the size is really good and the ergonomics are really nice too. However, the design itself is more like the G90. There are two dials on top of the camera and the small screen of the G9 or the S-series cameras is missing. But the ergonomics of the G90 are also really good, and the new S5 also has a joystick at the back of the camera, so the autofocus autofocus control is much better with a joystick. The S5 also has the flippy screen design of the G90 and other G-series cameras. And that's a very good news for YouTubers or vloggers and people who film themselves, because you can turn the screen forwards like this. So all in all, I think the new camera will be a very pleasant camera in real life photography or in real use. And the new camera is also dust and splash resistant. The camera body is made of magnesium alloy, and I saw an illustration that showed all the gaskets and seals in the camera body, and there were a lot of them. So it should be a real tool for some serious use, even though it's a little bit below in the lineup, below the S1 in the lineup. But nonetheless, it should be a real tool for hard professional use regarding the mechanical construction. And then a couple of words about the new battery. And yes, there will be a new battery with the new camera, which is kind of, or which may sound like a bad news, but it's not really all bad news, because the new battery is backwards compatible with the G9 and GH5 cameras. And the new battery has about 20% more capacity or more power than the current battery used in the G9 or GH5. So if you are using GH5 for example, or the G9 currently, and you want to get the new S5, you can use the same battery for both cameras, except that of course the old or the current G9 or GH5 battery will not fit the S5. And there's also going to be a new charger that has the similar lights that the S1 series charger has, so you can see how the battery is charging, if it's 50, 80 or 100% full when it's charging. So that's also a little bit better than the current charger for this battery that comes with the G9 or GH5. And you can charge the new camera via USB if you want, but you can't shoot and charge at the same time. But anyway, you can charge it with any USB-C charger or power bank or whatever. Regarding the photo features, the camera is very much like the current S1 camera. 24 megapixels and the same sensor and the same processing. However, there's one very nice addition, and that's the live composite mode. That's currently only on one other Lumix camera, the G90/95. And the live comp mode is your best friend if you're into any kind of night or long exposure photography. When it comes to the actual image quality, I believe it's very similar to the S1, which is very good indeed. And the high ISO performance also should be excellent, as it is on the S1 camera body. And there's also the 96 megapixel high-res mode. That can also be very nice in low light photography because it very effectively suppresses any noise, and of course it gives you excellent extra resolution if you want to print very large. Lumix cameras are known for their excellent dual IS image stabilizer, and the new S5 also has 6.5 stop dual IS, which makes it really good in low light photography even without a tripod, if your subject is not moving, that is. I can easily handhold to 1 or 2 second exposures using a wide angle lens on my S1R camera, so the stabilizer is really good. And also the video features are very much like on the S1. But the V-Log photo style is included, and it's the full V-Log, not the V-Log L that's on the GH series cameras, for example. The S5 also has native dual ISO, so that promises very nice video footage also in low light conditions. And the 8-bit video quality has no time limit. But if you shoot 10-bit, you have 30-minute limit, because Panasonic wants to make sure the camera does not overheat. However, in normal conditions, you should be able to continue straight away after the first 30 minutes is up. Panasonic really makes a big deal about the heat suppression on the new S5 camera, and I really do believe it's a proper tool also for video shooters, and it will not overheat in any normal situations at least. And Lumix cameras are not known for any overheating issues. And there are 5 anamorphic modes, and the image stabilizer is optimized also for those. So that's good news for everyone who's looking to shoot some cinematic anamorphic footage. And then about the new autofocus. It's still the same DFD, but the new algorithm should be a lot better than the current algorithm. It should be more confident in recognizing faces, eyes, and people from further away. But of course we have to see some real-world tests before we can confirm how well it works in real-life situations. And there's gonna be a firmware update for the S1, S1R and S1H with the same autofocus improvements. However, when it comes to the Micro Four Thirds cameras, I'm not sure if the same update is coming for the Micro Four Thirds cameras. It's unclear if it's possible to implement the same improvements on the Micro Four Thirds cameras because the sensor is different and the processors are different, etc. But let's hope it will also come for the Micro Four Thirds cameras. So what about the Micro Four Thirds then? There are a lot of people who are complaining how Panasonic now is only concentrating on their full-frame lineup, and they are forgetting their loyal Micro Four Thirds audience. Well, I wish I could tell you more, but I can tell you this, that Panasonic has not forgotten their Micro Four Thirds users. I'm really excited about the new S5 full-frame camera, and I really hope I can share my user experience review with you guys soon. And I definitely think this is the right direction where the S5 is taking us, or where Panasonic is going with the S5. And there are a lot of people now who are complaining how Panasonic is almost cheating now that they are releasing the S5, which is better camera than the S1, but it's also a cheaper camera and a smaller camera. But I don't think they are cheating. I mean, the S1 and S1R came out in early 2018. That's almost 2 years ago. And I think it would look bad if Panasonic now would come up with a camera that has much lower specification than a camera that came out almost 2 years ago. And besides, competition has also moved on, and some cameras from other brands offer very nice video specs, video features especially. So I think it's only natural progression that cameras, newer cameras always have some new features, and also they have features that previously were only on some higher spec cameras. And I also hope we're gonna see some new, more compact lenses that we can use with the new S5 camera body. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my initial impressions video on the new S5 camera. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.